From the banks of the Mississippi to the peaks of the Smokies, this is the home field of champions.
Andre Callaway to Stanley Morgan.
And so, holds it down. Nobody can catch him. Reggie White penetrated.
Touchdown, Heath Stewart. James Stewart.
Standing on the naked handoff.
Peerless Price.
Travis Henry scores for Tennessee.
More than 75 years of broadcast excellence. We are the Vol Network. We're Big Orange fans. Get ready for game day. Your guy, the voice of the Vols, Mike Keith. Delivered by Uber Eats.
Welcome to the Mike Keith Show, delivered by Uber Eats. Download the Uber Eats app and use the code GOBIGOrange to get $15 off all orders. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the Vols. Let's eat. Let's also welcome in Andy Brock and Sarah Detweiler, who are together.
Yeah, look at this.
They buried the hatchet. Every problem they've had where we've had to keep them separated is over with. Congratulations to both of you for being at the same table together.
It's very hostile there for a while.
It was really,
Did it.
Look at this.
Look at it now.
really was. So Dr. Brock and Sarah Detweiler, host of the Everything Orange podcast. What's the Everything Orange podcast tomorrow?
We have diving head coach Jane Figueredo on her first season here on Rocky Top.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, this segment of the Mike Keith Show is brought to you by KUB Fiber, the world's fastest internet, and Vol Nation's fastest way to connect. And so you guys are over there together,
Correct.
which is
Yeah, a bit odd.
different.
different
Mm-hmm.
because we have a special guest.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Maybe Vol fans have heard, but there is a new Smoky. He'll be at the Orange and White game Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern. But guess where he is right now? He's our first guest on the Mike Keith Show. Bring him in, Smokey.
Here we go.
12.
Oh, man.
And his trainer, Garrett Reeves. Come on in here.
Oh, Smokey.
Hey, Smokey.
Look at him.
Oh. Let me get sit for me. I'm going to do this
Wow.
so I could bring the microphone down here.
Very well trained.
What a sweetheart.
Hey.
His name is Neeland, but he is Smokey 12. All right.
That's correct.
So, Garrett, all right, let's come here, Smokey. Let's talk about this for a second. You are Smokey's handler, junior
wow.
from Springfield, Tennessee. How'd you get to be Smokey's handler?
Yeah, so this position is exclusive to the Alpha Gamma Rho fraternity, which is the agricultural fraternity here on on UT's campus. We've been the source of Smokey's handler since 1977, and at the end of your sophomore year, you can apply to be one of the handlers. So I went through the application process. It's a multi-round interview and tryout, and I was just fortunate enough to be selected last March. So just completed my first year.
And how many guys work with you as Smokey handlers?
There's 3 of us. So this year, I guess this upcoming season, I'll be the senior handler. And then we just selected our 2 sophomores who are going to be the junior handlers next season.
All right. How long have you been working with Smokey 12?
We started working with, the vets have been working with him since they picked him up. Hey, there it is.
Better get the softball back, buddy.
Yeah.
The guys in the studio.
So the vets have been working with him since they picked him up around December. So they've been working with him for a while. The handlers, we started working with him in February as soon as we got back to school. So
I love it. I love it. You're the star of the show. You want to make sure everybody knows. So, Vol fans, here is your new Smokey. And what a beautiful dog.
he is gorgeous, isn't he?
And we did have a chance. Yes, we did have a chance to do a run through with him yesterday. And he was not this fired up, but now he knows he's live.
Yeah, that's right. He's already ready for the spotlight, as you can see. So we're excited to see how he handles this weekend at the Orange and White game, and we think that he's gonna have a pretty successful tenure here.
Barking is not problematic.
No, absolutely not.
Hey, sweetie. How about it? Let's get a treat. Let's get a treat,
that's
Smokey. Let's get a treat, Smokey.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We have to get down low. We have Smokey Cam going here, which is really, really cool.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He's just doing great. I was not expecting this.
You're doing great, sweetie. You want to talk?
He loves mine.
You want to talk? You can come up and do the
wow.
game Saturday if you want to. Yeah. Look at this. Oh, yeah. Hey, so Neil here, right here, another tree. Good
Wow.
sitter. And he
Well
does
behaved.
down and everything too.
Kneeling.
Good sit.
Down.
Handshake.
Down. Very good. And the amazing thing about Smokey 12, rescue.
He is. This is one of the. I believe it's the first time that we've ever had a rescue dog serve in this role. So we're really excited, and hopefully this can open the door for potential opportunities. Bring other dogs that are in unfortunate circumstances into a really cool role. Hey, Nealon, right here.
Neil is right here. Garrett Reeves doing a great job.
Good job, buddy.
The ag school, the vet school, everybody working hard on him. It's something, we know about the ag school and the vet school, how special it is at Tennessee, and a great moment for you guys to be able to have this in this way and be able to get this kind of attention.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We're proud of the work that we do. UTIA Institute of Agriculture. We've worked super hard to get us to the point that we are now. Dr. Carver and Dr. Plumfer, who's the dean of the vet school. They all work super hard and have worked with Nealon for various months now. So like I said, we're really excited and grateful for all the hard work it's taken.
I think Smokey is saying it's time for Quinn for the win. Smokey, your appearance is the Quinn for the win today. There is no question.
Good job, Smokey.
What about Smokey? Look at that dog.
Wow.
You're beautiful. Brought to you by Quinn Appliance, your home for the best selection of GE appliances. Visit their showroom in Alcoa or at quinnappliance.com. GE Appliances, built for America. Man, this is a treat. To get to meet this guy and to have this opportunity, absolutely fantastic. Come back over and get one more shot of it. Can you do that?
Oh.
He covers for
Good
me.
boy.
Pick up the card. Garrett Reeves, Smokey 12, thanks for starting us off the right way. As we go to break, it's time for the Sonic Smash of the Week. Introducing the new Sonic Refreshers. Yes, it is hydrating. You're right. A hydrating blend of green tea and real fruit. Try it sparkling or in 3 delicious flavors: berry citrus, mango peach, and strawberry passion fruit. Sonic. Eat Sonic. Live free. How about a Lady Vol smash to take us to break?
Deep shot towards left field. No doubter. Emma Clark, 2-run home run, puts the Lady Vols on top, 7-0.
The Mike Keith Show, sponsored by
Pilot, official travel stop of the Vols. See you out here. By Firehouse Subs, home of the hottest subs in Big Orange Country. RJV Kubota, with 2 convenient locations in Knoxville and Nashville. By Hound Dogs, your one-stop shop for all things Big Orange. And by Farm Bureau Insurance. Our agents are there when you need them. Farm Bureau is Tennessee's insurance company and the official insurance of the Vols.
Like the Diamond Vols, Fox Moving and Storage is moving at a championship level. Whether it's local or long distance, large or small, give one of Tennessee's premier moving companies a call. With offices in Knoxville, Nashville, Chattanooga, and the Tri-Cities, Fox Moving and Storage has you covered across Big Orange Country with experienced, trained professional movers for your home, office, or condo. Get your move on with Fox Moving and Storage, a proud supporter of Tennessee baseball.
For a limited time, Firehouse Subs is serving up the French dip sub, piled high with premium roast beef, caramelized onions, and melty provolone on a freshly toasted garlic butter roll. Served with warm, savory au jus for dipping. Big portions, no shortcuts, just crave-worthy subs made to truly satisfy. And at Firehouse Subs, every bite makes an impact. A portion of every purchase helps to provide life-saving equipment to first responders. Download the Firehouse Subs app, skip the line, stack the flavor, and support your local heroes.
In this town, we don't just root for the team. We are the team. We rise before the sun, stay long after the lights go out. We are Big Orange Country. And with this team stands another, UT Medical. We heal the hurt, fuel the comeback, keep Vol Nation stronger, tougher, together, with care that never lets up. UT Medical, official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
From the practice court to the fourth quarter, our attitude is always the same. Confidence and commitment can easily turn dreams into reality. Where there's a dream, there's a way. And that's First Horizon's philosophy. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. That's First Horizon. Over 160 years of banking based right here in the Volunteer State. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Lady Vol basketball.
Delivered by Uber Eats. Mike Keith continues the countdown to Vols action.
Welcome back to the Mike Keith Show. This segment of the program is presented by Pilot, the official travel partner of the University of Tennessee. And this is...
That's indeed Bayless Jones in the building.
Bayless Jones. I was going to say world champion.
Oh, yeah, fact.
Bayless Jones. Here's the stat. I don't know if you know this. You are the 41st Tennessee Volunteer to win a Super Bowl.
It's a blessing to be in that category for sure.
Seattle beat, of course, the New England Patriots in this past February Super Bowl 60, 29-13. So I was looking up former Vols who've won Super Bowl. You want to hear some interesting facts?
Let's hear it.
Okay. The first former Vol to win a Super Bowl was Bill Anderson, playing for the Green Bay Packers as they defeated the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl I.
Oh, okay, the first.
That goes back. Multi-time Super Bowl winners, former Vols, Craig Colquitt, the punter for Pittsburgh, 79-80. Mickey Marvin, an offensive lineman with the Oakland Raiders in 1981, and then the Los Angeles Raiders in 1984. Same team, different locale. Raleigh McKenzie, Washington, 1988-1992. Peyton Manning, 2007 with Indianapolis, 2016 with Denver. Marcus Nash, wide receiver, Denver 1999, Baltimore 2001. Jack Hacksaw Reynolds, linebacker, won with San Francisco in 1982 and 1985. And then you'll know this one, Trey Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Kansas City.
My dog.
2023, 2024. Interesting note, the only Vol to win 3 Super Bowls, Bill Bates with Dallas, 1993, 1994, and 1996. Man, it's good to see you back.
Yeah, it's a blessing to be back.
All right, so tell me about the experience of Super Bowl week, what it was like, the day of the game, seeing Bad Bunny. Did you even get to see Bad Bunny?
You couldn't even hear Bad Bunny. I don't know. I'm not sure if the locker room was soundproof or anything. You couldn't hear nothing outside, yeah. So, I mean, I think we left early, like on a Tuesday or so. The plane ride was relaxed. It was a great group of guys on the team. It was definitely fun. We had this thing called shadow boxing. It's basically like you point a direction. You have to guess like 3 directions in a row and you win. So did that the whole plane ride there. Got there, we landed, went straight to the hotel, and I think we had meetings, but the week was really chill. Mike did I feel like he did a real great job of us just sticking to the game plan. We didn't make the game bigger than what it was, even though it was a Super Bowl. You know, we preached it's the next game, next opponent, and so that's how we prepared for the week. It was a lot of media going on earlier in the week in the Civic Center. That was crazy. It was cool. They did like a lot of like weird, funny interviews and everything. And then we like locked in on the week practice, and practice was like smooth. It was fun. It felt like we were back in Seattle. You know, we were really confident going into the week. And so like we just felt like the togetherness from like offensive standpoint, defense, special teams that, you know, we felt like nobody can beat us, you know, if we just stick to the game plan. And then the guys were confident. Like, it was really fun throughout the week. You know, we already, knew the outcome with the confidence we played that, if we just go out there and lay it all on the line and everybody just do their job, that we'll come out, victorious. So mainly that, and it was amazing with the confetti falling, and I met the Hawk. I can't remember his name. The Hawk, I think he's like 20 years old. He was at the last 2 Super Bowls. They're actually like the bird that flies around.
Okay.
My mom and dad came on the field. I had family from back home that came out, and it was a crazy feeling. Party after party.
All right, so the party.
Yeah.
I want to get into that because that's a cool thing. So generally, there's some big time entertainment at the party. And how long does the party go on? Did you even go to bed?
So honestly, my family, we had like certain hotels. I think you could have like 2 family members with 1 bedroom at the main hotel with the family in it. And then there was another one right down the street from that one. So my mom stayed there, and my dad, my aunts, uncles, and cousins stayed at the other one. And man, I remember I came back and I just went to sleep, and they were outside waiting on me. So security was real tight. They didn't just let anybody walk through. You had to have a list.
Sure.
Yeah, and everything. And so after we did that, went to the after party. It was walk through the hotel. I had Ludacris, T-Pain, and Travis Scott. But it went on to like 4-something in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my mom fell asleep on the couch and everything. Like, yeah, they can't hang.
So talking about life and decisions, you're playing for New Orleans to start the year.
Mm-hmm.
They let you go.
Mm-hmm.
And some guys would say at this point in your career, okay, I'm just going to take a minute and I'm just going to figure out what's next for me. Instead, you pretty quickly took the offer to join the practice squad in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that turned out to be a great decision. Did you ever have any hesitation after leaving New Orleans as to what you were going to do next?
So, the crazy thing about having faith, my religion, a big firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And so, my agent called me, and Seahawks is like, you can come play here now. And so, I feel like my dad and them was kind of worried because they were loaded team-wise.
Yeah.
But with my abilities, Jay, special team coordinator, they knew what they were getting in me and the type of player I am. And so came in, and it was funny because with New Orleans, we played them earlier in the season. They didn't kick me 1 ball on kickoff return. They kicked it the opposite way. And so they had a lot of respect for me, especially in the kickoff return game, and just going and building. It felt like home, honestly. And crazy thing about it, I found out Jay was he was at Michigan when I came out of Saraland High School on my visit. So he's been following me since like my senior year of high school, so junior, senior year. So that was cool. I had a lot of guys, strength and conditioning staff, Sam Darnold, Chenna, Nwosu, Peely, a couple guys that I was at USC with before I transferred to Tennessee. So it felt like home, honestly. And a lot of guys, we were in the same draft class that I knew about already. And so like Kenneth Walker, Tariq Woodland. And so I felt like home, honestly. And she came from New Orleans as well.
Yes.
So
he was traded there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I was like, I felt at home. I was comfortable. And I remember just sitting on the couch when my agent called me, and I was like, Seattle's all the way out the way. Because, I felt I was comfortable. And Mobile, Alabama was like an hour 50 away from New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
So I was home, had my dogs with me. Family was coming to see me throughout the week. So I felt like everything was going good. But, how life works, you won't really understand what God has planned for you. And I feel like sometimes, when you get like comfortable, it's not meant for you to be there for long, And so it was definitely, I feel like it was a calling. I prayed about it. And, I just have all my faith in the Lord. And so I jumped on it, and it turned out really well for me. Won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Signed a future contract and everything. So I'm definitely looking forward to this year. New OC. We go back on the 20th, so I'm just ready to, have fun. Definitely have fun again.
You're a running back now.
Uh-huh.
You got moved in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And then when you went to Jacksonville, and you went to Carolina, and then you went to New Orleans, you're a running back. You're still a running back.
Uh-huh.
How hard was it when the coaches came to you in Chicago and said, this is where we want to try you at a new position?
So at first, I was having like a really good camp. Was dialed in, having a really good camp. And, they brought Keenan Allen in to me, one of the greats. Had DJ Moore at the time, drafted Rome first round. And so, you know, the ball, it wasn't getting around that much anyway. So at this point, you know, a lot of people probably don't know, I started at running back ever since I was young.
No kid.
I didn't switch over to receiver to my 9th grade year.
Well, you're built like a running back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I had speed. So, you know, my high school coach put that together. And then my senior year, I did running back and receiver. Yeah, so I was like a hybrid because, you know, teams are cloud me, they'll press me, put a safety over top, scoot a linebacker. It was difficult for me to get the ball. So I started getting handoffs out the backfield my senior year. And USC kind of used me like that. Then that's when the jet sweep thing came in. And so I always had experience at running back. So it was like second nature, honestly. So basically when I caught the ball, even at Tennessee, I just turned it to a running back. That's how I was able to run with physicality and break so many tackles and everything.
Well, your whole thing is you're not really afraid to do anything. You were a good special teams player in college. You were not afraid to do that. I remember covering you at the Senior Bowl. You're like, yeah, whatever, put me wherever, I don't care.
Yeah.
And you were a big-time prospect, big-time high school prospect. You were a 3rd-round draft pick. How have you, through the whole last 10 years, maintained enough humility to be willing to change positions and also be willing to play special teams like a wild man like you do?
I feel like my grandmother instilled in me a long time ago. Just be thankful, be grateful, you know, keep the Lord first. And that's what really got me through a lot of things. Like I done been through depression.
Pretty tough in Chicago, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, probably on the outside looking in, but I mean, I was fine, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you I didn't go through some things mentally, especially my rookie year when I had a hamstring injury, missed like the first 3 games, played the 4th. Like I was down bad mentally, but I just know, you know, the Lord won't put you through anything that he know you can bear. And he was with me every step of the way, honestly. And I felt like when I did leave Chicago, that was a real growing point for me. You know, I felt relief. Like I can just like be me, you know, continue to have fun, give God all the glory. And honestly, I just been enjoying the ride. I feel like a lot of people, you think it's about you, and it's really not. It's bigger than me. As for, you know, the kids in the communities of Mobile and Saraland, Alabama, my little cousins and everything looking up to me. And so that's when I realized it's like, it's not all about me, you know? And I'm just blessed to be in a situation that I can, you know, share the word of God, my testimony, you know, through my Lord and Savior. And it's a beautiful thing. And so like one thing about me growing up, watching my grandmother work 3 jobs, like we didn't know like quit or give up. You know what I'm saying? Like find a way. And so that's been my whole life, just find a way. Because I mean, I had to go through adversity in Park League. I was with a park team called Municipal Park Raiders. Well, I didn't play much at all. Then that's when I moved to Saraland with my mom and my grandmother and my father and took off. Middle school, I faced adversity. Little rumor, Bayless was scared to get the ball at running back, blah, 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 which is BS. And my 8th grade year, switched to receiver, took over 9th grade year, played JV, you know, didn't get much playing time, worked my way up to start my sophomore year. So it's like every level that I've been throughout my life, it's like the path was just tougher, but that's okay because I like tougher. I like when my back is up against the wall and the odds are not looking good because I feel like that's when I really like flourish and turn it up a notch. And the cream always rises to the top. So, you know, keeping God first and just knowing everything that's happening is happening for a reason with my timing. Because I did 6 years in college, came here 2020, COVID, and then 2021, the season they started off like too great. But, you know, when I got my opportunity, I took off with it. And so, you know, that's what I'm used to doing. I feel like that's my testimony. And a movie is not a good movie without no adversity, you know? Exactly. And so definitely feel like my life is a movie and still got so many chapters, you know, in my book and this movie to tell. So I'm just blessed, you know.
Well, I know this. I know some people who are USC people who still love you. Obviously, the people at Tennessee love you. I know some people in the Chicago area who still think the world of you and who are glad that it worked out for you in this way to become the 41st Vol to win a Super Bowl. And you're going to put on one of those gigantic rings.
Yeah, I can't wait.
This summer, I would guess. There'll be a ceremony.
Yeah.
And you're going to be that guy who grew up, who they thought was scared to get the ball, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to have the biggest ring on your finger that says you are a world champion, and you will be a world champion for the rest of your life.
Oh, God. That's amazing. That's really a blessing, you think, in the grand scheme of things. The Hall of Famers that never won a Super Bowl.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's so hard and rare to get back in that position. And so, yeah, that's why I'm excited about this season, because I truly feel like what I can contribute, to the offensive side of the ball, being moved in different ways to touch the ball, especially going into preseason, just to show, new coordinator what I can do, show Mike what I can do, and how much passion I really have for this and to be able to contribute to get us back to another Super Bowl.
We'll see. Boy, you looked like the best team last year for sure.
No, most definitely. We will this year too.
Velus Jones, I'm looking forward to the next few chapters.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got great things.
My man.
Love this guy. Velus Jones with us on the Mike Keith Show. We're back with more of the show right after this.
It's game day, ball fans, and you don't want to miss a single play. Uber Eats brings your favorite food right to your door. Wings, pizza, burgers, whatever you're craving, it's just a tap away. Download the Uber Eats app and use code GOBIGORANGE to get $15 off all orders. Uber Eats, proud sponsor of the Vols. Let's eat.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit RJV Kubota locally in Knoxville or Nashville. RJV Kubota, a proud supporter of the Vols.
Get game day ready at Hound Dogs, your one-stop shop for all things Big Orange. Locally owned and operated, Hound Dogs has everything Vol fans need, all in one place. Check out the newest polos and pullovers from Hound Dogs' private label, plus their latest in boutique ladies apparel. And don't forget about all the gear from Columbia. If it's orange and white, it's at Hound Dogs. Gear up at Hound Dogs, located on Kingston Pike in West Knoxville, your one-stop shop for all things Big Orange.
Tastes like winning. Yeehaw Brewing Company is the home of Vol Lager, a beer made for fans by fans. Founded by UT alumni, we've created an experience that feels just like home. And as the official watch party for Tennessee Athletics, our tap rooms make the best place to cheer on the Vols. Visit yeehawbrewing.com to find a location or beer near you. Yeehaw Brewing, a VFL, every season, every sip.
A complete preview of this weekend's action. Mike Keith continues. Delivered by Uber Eats.
Welcome back to the Mike Keith Show. This segment of the program presented by Food City, the official supermarket and tailgate headquarters of the Vols. And only fitting that Food City would be sponsoring the segment for a basketball player who will be playing in the Food City Center next season. This is Tyler Lundblade. Welcome to Big Orange Country.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
I am excited to have you here. My friend Chris Dortch wrote a piece for the website Hoops HQ about you back in October. And I think it opened the eyes of a lot of people who did not know your story. But Chris is so respected and knows everybody in basketball that a lot of people read it. And they know that you had a great, really second half of the season for Belmont in 24-25, and then last season had another great year, and now you've chosen to transfer to Tennessee. So I want to ask you first and foremost, Belmont was good to you. Casey Alexander, the coach, was good to you. He left and went to Kansas State. Why Tennessee for your transfer?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was I've got 1 year left, and before last season, my goal was to test the draft water and see if I could get a two-way or something and go pro. But the class is just so stacked, and it just didn't make sense. And so for me, my last year, I really wanted to be on a really great team and have a chance to go really deep in the tournament. And then individually, I wanted to go somewhere where I could get better and really, prepare myself for the NBA next year. And, one of the things that we had talked a ton about was not necessarily raising my ceiling, but raising my floor. And I don't think there's a better defensive coach in the country than Coach Barnes. And so really from all aspects, it was a pretty easy decision.
Grapevine, Texas, to Greensboro Day School in North Carolina. COVID kind of throws things off.
Yeah.
You end up at SMU as a walk-on, and that doesn't really work out. You redshirt. You go to TCU. You get on the court some, but it doesn't really work out. New coach, and then you've got to figure out something. And then getting to Belmont was not even an automatic. How did it finally come down that Casey Alexander said, yes, we want you to come on and play for us?
Originally at SMU, I walked on for Tim Jankovic, then was put on scholarship there, and then he retired after my first year. New coach came in, didn't have a scholarship with him. So that led me to TCU, but Coach Jank was instrumental, and he called Coach Dixon, told him about me, and they said, yeah, we'll take him, we'll have him. Had my 2 years there, some ups, some downs, a surgery, a red shirt, and then same situation. I was on scholarship, had my scholarship pulled late, and going into my fourth year of school, didn't really think I was going to see the court much, and I was like, if I don't play basketball for 4 years, I feel like I'm killing my career, and so once again leaned on Coach Jank. He started calling around, and called Casey, and the first conversation, he was like, our roster's already full. And bear in mind, this is in June. So they've already gone through their first month of summer practice.
They're full.
Yeah. And he's like, we're full. We don't have a spot. And so kind of another 2 or 3 weeks go by. And I remember it was like 3:00 in the morning one night. And I couldn't sleep. I texted my dad. I was like, I don't know if I should, it's the first time I'm thinking that basketball is not going to work out. And the next day, Jank called Casey again and said, just give me 30 minutes of your time. Just listen. Got to Belmont July 15th, so I missed all of our summer workouts. Was there for a couple optional weeks, and then started full-time with the team in late August.
And you weren't playing a lot early.
No. It's funny. The summer I did pretty well. In August, in the fall, I was awful. I couldn't make a shot. I was just, stressing, overreaching, just trying to be perfect. And coach was like, just settle down, you'll find your place. I mean, our first game, we played a non-Division I team, so I played 20 minutes. And then we played Furman and Lipscomb, and I think in both those games, I played 12 and 11 minutes. Then we had a road game at Air Force, and I played well and closed the game out. And then we came home against Oral Roberts, and I just broke out, had 22 in the second half, and just kind of snowballed from there.
The three-point shooting prowess. I mean, the things that Chris Storch had in the article about you making 68 in a row in a workout and had 174 out of 179. That's Steph Curry kind of stuff. How did you get yourself to a point where you can repeat the motion and everything that you do in a way that you can make shots like that? Even with nobody guarding you, that's still just crazy.
Yeah, I appreciate it. One, I think it's a God-given gift. I've always had a knack for shooting, but I think because of the way my career has played out, I was always chasing and chasing and chasing. And so I think that just drove the work ethic that I have now, especially when I had my surgery at TCU.
Now, what was the surgery?
Sports hernia. So I had a partial tear in my adductor. It wasn't an invasive surgery, so I could walk the day of the surgery. But for the first couple of weeks before I could jump, I shot 700, 800 free throws a day just to get something done. And I really attribute that kind of 3-month period to where, it was just all mechanic work. I wasn't doing any conditioning or, hard up and down the court stuff. So all my effort was just put in on my mechanics and refining my shot. But I think just the compounding effect of 8+ years of making probably 300 to 500 shots a day just stacks and stacks over time. And it was a gift, but I'm also maniacal in my routine and my workouts, and it's just definitely compounded over time. And I think that instance in that video from that workout kind of just put it on display.
Hearing your story about your journey, knowing that you're a COVID kid, unfortunately, I have a son who's the same way, going through that whole period, which disrupted people of your age is life in a very different way, that you can do what you can do shooting the basketball as consistently as you do. Where does your mental makeup come from?
a large portion of it is from my faith. My faith's the most important thing in my life, and trusting that the Lord was going to orchestrate and, carry out this basketball plan, however it may have worked out. That definitely took a lot off of my plate. I think one of the biggest words that my family had talked about was the idea of surrender, and like surrendering, I can control what I can put in, but I can't control the outcomes. And it took a lot off my plate. I used to stress so much about where I was going to end up, and recruiting in high school and not being recruited, and, walking on twice and 3 times, letting it all go and leaving it out of my hands is just taking a lot of pressure off my shoulders. And then I think the other portion of it is just how much I love the game. And, I'll die giving the game everything I can, because I want to look back at my career, however it shakes out, knowing that I gave it all that I could. And, if it didn't pan out, there wasn't anything left that I could have done differently.
And you're ready for Rick Barnes.
Very ready.
I mean, he's going to push you. I'm sure he told you that.
Yeah. No, that's one thing I really appreciated about the whole recruiting process with Tennessee was, they almost kind of they want to scare you out of it, because they want to know if you want to be here for the right reasons. And, he told me, he's like, where you want to go is hard. You want to be one of the best 500 players in the world on one of the 30 best teams in the world. This is going to be hard. This will be the hardest experience of your life, but I promise you what's on the other side of it is so rewarding and will be worth it. And for me, with 1 year left, that's all I want. I want to make a deep tournament run. I want to be coached hard. I want to improve. I want to be surrounded by a great group of guys, and I want to play in front of 20,000 people every night screaming their heads off for the Vols. So
number 7 going to be the number?
Number 7 will be the number.
Nice. This is Tyler Lundblade, the newest Tennessee basketball player. A great story coming from an outstanding program in Belmont. A lot of friends there know this guy well, and he is well thought of. Thrilled to have him as a Tennessee Volunteer. We got more of the show coming up right after this.
Any coach will tell you speed is a huge advantage on the field. It's also a huge advantage online. That's why there's KUB Fiber, the world's fastest internet, right here in Tennessee. Speeds up to 10 gigs per second, a price that won't go up, and a connection so reliable it has 98% customer satisfaction. So whether you're watching the game, streaming the highlights, or railing about a bad call on a message board, you need Vol Nation's fastest, most reliable internet. KUB Fiber.
Rackley Roofing is now the official roofer of the Vols, and Rackley is more than a roofing company. They're part of the communities where they work and live, investing in neighborhoods and opening doors to a career in an industry that's growing year after year. Rackley Roofing's mission is clear: transform the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Because Rackley believes the ladder to a great roof is only as good as the people who climb it. Rackley Roofing, building roofs, building futures.
Fans, make your tailgate party legendary with game day food from Texas Roadhouse, where you'll find hand-cut steaks, fall-off-the-bone ribs, ice-cold beer, and all the fresh-baked bread and peanuts you can eat. Almost everything on the menu at Texas Roadhouse is made from scratch, and a full-time butcher cuts every steak by hand. Make sure to check out their $5 beverage menu available all day, every day. Download the Texas Roadhouse mobile app or visit TexasRoadhouse.com to place your order or join the wait list. Go Vols!
Hey, this is Rick Barnes. The great John Wooden said, "Failing to prepare is preparing to fail." That's why I put such an emphasis on preparation. I get to the gym early, before everyone else, so when they walk through the doors, I'm ready. Food City does the same thing. Long before the doors open, they're stocking produce, cutting certified Angus beef, and prepping ready-made meals. So when you walk into a Food City or the Food City Center, we're going to be prepared.
Mike's back with your pregame scouting report, delivered by Uber Eats.
pulls this one on a clothesline to right. Shackled hard and made the catch! No way!
So glad you're back with us. This is ball pitcher Landon Mack. His appearance is delivered by Uber Eats. You've got Duncan there.
Yep.
You can get that Uber Eats to you as well.
I often get this sent to my study hall. Wake up in the morning, get a little half hour of extra sleep, and put the order in. When I get there, it's there.
So they deliver it to the study hall.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I'm walking in the front door, and I got my order sitting right there.
Oh, that Uber Eats, they really come through big.
Oh, yeah.
This segment of the Mike Keith Show is brought to you by CertaPro Painters of East Tennessee. Great sponsors of the balls. By the way, they just did some painting for me and wallpaper. They do a beautiful job.
Wow,
How about
that's
that?
great. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's good. You probably don't need any painting or wallpapering right now, but at some point you may.
I might need that. Yeah,
It could happen.
without a doubt.
All right, let's talk about last Friday night. You become the Friday night starter. Did you like that?
I loved it. It's everything I've dreamed of. I think last year, having had the Friday night role, I kind of know what comes with that, setting the tone for the weekend. I had a lot of fun out there. The game might have not gone our way, but I was loving it.
In terms of preparation, Landon, how much does it change being the Friday night starter to being the Saturday night starter or the Saturday afternoon starter, whatever it is for you?
Yeah, it's a, when you're Saturday and you throw on Saturdays, it's a 7-day routine. So to change things to a 6-day routine can definitely trying to speed up or expedite the recovery process, your body. So yeah, to move to a 6-day cycle, it's just, working with the strength coach, getting the lifts in, making sure your body's in a good spot. You're not overdoing or underdoing anything. But I think, honestly, if I've felt anything, is this week, kind of the after effect from being on a 6-day routine, but back on 7 now, get to throw Friday again. That's kind of the reward you get. If you do good, you get to do it again.
Well, you certainly did well. I mean, 7 innings, 94 pitches. We were a little scared in the 4th inning. You had a little, was it in your side?
That was actually my insulin site. I had it on my stomach, kind of right about here, and I think it was John Pearson that was up. I struck him out, and after I had made the pitch, kind of walked around, and the needle was kind of coming in and going out back in, and that was bothering me a little bit. And then fell into a 3-0 count with Zach Dork, and I wasn't feeling good having the needle go in and out, getting the flu shot over and over and over is what it felt like. So yeah, Coach and Woody, they came out, kind of made a tight circle. I kind of had to undo my uniform. I just ripped the needle out, and then was fortunate enough to get a pop-up and get out of the inning, put a fresh one on. I'm okay.
Yeah,
my body is good.
That's good.
It was just a temporary.
Well, but you've mentioned before when you were on here and in some other interviews, you're type 1 diabetic.
Yes.
And so do you have to say to the umpire at that point, listen, this is going to take just a minute longer because this is what he's having to do? Your situation's quite different.
Yeah, the home plate umpire was extremely helpful. He came up to me a couple times and he's like, hey, man, like, if you need a second here, it's on you. If you need a warm-up pitch, just let me know. And then when I went out the next inning, he's like, hey, is everything good? You need some extra time here? And I was like, no, man, like, all set. Appreciate you. But yeah, he was very helpful. And like I said, the training staff and everything, they helped me out and got right back out there.
What would you say your routine is between innings?
Yeah, I used to be pretty restless. I didn't like standing still. I still try to move around a little bit. But yeah, sometimes stiffening up is kind of an issue. So I like to stay moving around, but at the same time, making sure that I'm conserving that energy and kind of just focus on my next task, right? I could be a good teammate, showing my teammates, but focus on, okay, this is who we got, 1, 2, 3 next inning. Let's create a plan ahead of time. It'll be fresh.
Is there anything you have to do with trainer Jeff Wood in regards to being a diabetic between innings?
Yeah, with having I have my phone in the corner of the dugout close enough where it's able to read. my blood sugars, which is then also being sent to Woody and my parents. So with having Woody in the dugout, obviously makes it very easy where we can just kind of check his phone between innings, and if my blood sugar's high from adrenaline, a big out, or a big pressure situation, maybe my blood sugar's going up and I need a dose. Maybe I had a tougher inning and I exerted myself and my blood sugar's going low. We got plenty of snacks and fast acting sugar and stuff like that to tell me get feeling good to go back out again.
I would think that having to have a routine like that, because you're a diabetic, makes you extra focused on everything going on around you. And in a strange way, it helps you as a pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being a pitcher, our routines are very black and white. They are simple and consistent and boring. And consistent and boring is what works. And to an extent, it's very similar with being a diabetic. Is it's the same food, it's the same times of the day, similar habits every day, where it's consistent and it's boring, but sometimes consistent and boring is what works, and you got to stay with it.
What were you doing well Friday night?
I think it was definitely my command. I started off the year with good command, being an artist. And then, you get juiced up a couple of times, rip some big numbers, triple digits in Georgia. And, sometimes you turn into a meathead and you're just like, hey, I'm going to throw this as hard as I can. So being able to dial it back the last 2 weeks, and just be like, hey, I'm going to, stay within myself here and make these pitches and execute. And, that's kind of the, using the whole repertoire. That's what works.
Yeah, you don't have to throw 101 when 95 or 96 will work.
Shoot, we got 92, 93, and it's killing everyone out of Cam Appenzeller.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so much of that is about movement. Sometimes guys who throw hard get better as the game goes on, because as their velo goes down, suddenly the ball starts to move.
Yeah.
Do you find that with your pitching?
I definitely had been that way, but I think that my velocity has also remained more consistent over, bigger pitch counts. I think I grabbed like a 98 in the fifth or the sixth inning. And I had been 5 to 6 like the whole time. So to be able to kind of be conditioned to maintain, a velocity makes me feel like, okay, I'm in control here. I know exactly what's going to happen. But yes, like there are guys, and I was one of those guys in recent, past years, where my velocity would go down slightly, but it would also kind of add some movement and have a little more time between point A and point B to, dance on them. So,
because these hitters today have grown up with guys throwing this hard. So if you throw a fastball with no movement, they're going to hit it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter how fast you throw it, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's called a dead zone fastball.
Dead zone fastball.
It has the same amount of vertical and horizontal movement, and it's like the most predicting fastball to hit. So yeah, to have, a fastball with induced vertical break. So it's like, how much does it look like it's rising up or staying off the natural line of gravity? And then also how much horizontal. So, different guys have different profiles. I have a sinker ball and a rise ball, I guess, with a 4-seam and a 2-seam. So yeah, kind of messing around with different profiles and, give you an advantage on some guys.
All right. So the pitching staff has had ups and downs recently. In terms of what Josh Reynolds is preaching to the entire pitching staff as a group, as you go to Mississippi State this weekend, what does pitcher 1 through pitcher 8 have to do well or do better in order to have more success?
Yeah, it's really being ready to go when your name is called. I think that is one thing that, we're focusing on. Also wanting to be the guy in every situation, I think, is one thing. But then again, when it's your turn, go out there and execute, feel confident. If you're scared, let them know. They're not going to throw you. You know what I mean? So want to be the guy, be ready when your name is called, and go out there and just execute. And then for me, it's having fun. I love having fun.
So the atmosphere at State is fun. I mean, it is like nowhere else. Does that affect you? Do you see that? Do you feel that? Do you enjoy that? What are you thinking about for tomorrow night?
Yeah, personally, I love it. I think for some guys it can get, to be a lot, but I think we've done a great job with preparing our guys for these situations where I think they're going to be able to handle it. For example, going to Georgia and, all the fans are barking and
that's weird.
Telling me, bringing out family names or relative names and stuff like that, and just doing anything in their power to get me, off track. But little did the Bulldog fans know that they were kind of charging me up extra, and that's when I was able to get my 100.
There you go.
Yeah, personally, I love it. But it's different for everyone.
Well, it's a special place, and I mean, if you're a college baseball player, you want to have a chance to play at Dudy Noble because it's just, it's what college baseball is all about. I remember back in the 90s, it was a place where we went, and Coach Delmonico, who's going into the Tennessee Athletics Hall of Fame this weekend, by the way. Congratulations, Dick. He said, I want our place to be like this. I want our and it's funny, it took a while, but it is now. It's got a personality and it's got an atmosphere. And in terms of seeing the SEC in this way, that's got to be great.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes me feel like a professional.
There you go.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's having the ability to house that many people.
Yeah.
And have them, that many people behind you in those situations. It's the best feeling as a pitcher. It's a 3-2 count, 2 outs, bases are loaded, and everyone wants you to make that pitch. And to me, that's the best feeling. So I love that, we're able to have everyone here, and it's fun. Yeah.
Good luck tomorrow night in Starkville.
I appreciate you.
Landon Mack's appearance brought to you by or delivered by Uber Eats, where he gets his Dunkin' coffee every morning before study hall. Gus's fried chicken is good via Uber Eats too.
Yes, it is.
So many good things as far as Uber Eats with what they can deliver. I was actually kind of stunned at all of the stuff you could get. Basically everything. Basically everything. Landon Mack with us on the Mike Keith Show. We're back with more right after this.
Catch up on today's show anytime.
Presented by Uber Eats.
UTSports.com. Search Mike Keith. We are the Vol Network. The weekend's coming. Time to get ready for Big Orange action. The voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, is here with your weekend scouting report, delivered by Uber Eats.
Welcome back to the Mike Keith Show, delivered by Uber Eats, which you just heard about. I can also tell you that this segment of our program is brought to you by UT Medical, official healthcare provider of the Vols and the Lady Vols. Stepping back in, Sarah Detweiler and Dr. Andy Brock, Mr. 865. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
I'm going to put you to work.
Let's do it.
I'm going to put you to absolute work right now because we've got some work to do.
Let's
do the hot take feature presented by Firehouse Subs. This puts the pressure on those two young people. It's time for Firehouse Subs Hot Takes. Firehouse enjoy hot subs all across Big Orange Country. Ben, could you grab the sign there? Ben's going to help us out here. This will be great.
Yep.
He does such a great job. By the way, if you didn't know this, the Mike Keith Show is actually a class in the College of Communications. Is it 493? 494.
Close.
That's the number of the class. It's an upper level class, and we've had students working on the program all semester. Ben does a great job. He's holding a sign now for the Firehouse Subs Hot Takes. And who wants to go first with the hot take? Sarah or Andy? There's Ben.
Ben, you want to decide?
My hot take is Ben's doing a great job. He looked good on the football practice. He's a manager. Manager, is that right?
Video assistant.
Video assistant.
Fabulous.
And, man, he was working hard on the practice field this morning as they got after it in practice. There was a little fracas in there at one point. Did you jump out of the way, Ben?
A couple times.
Got away.
Times,
Okay. Got a little heated, a little scrappy. All right, so who's going first with the hot take?
I think my hot take.
Oh, wow. Okay. Whoa. Whoa.
Yep.
Go, Ben.
I think my hot take is that wide receiver Rodarius Jackson is going to go off yet again in another spring game for the Vols.
Okay.
He's been watching the film, so
Yeah, he would be the one to know.
Well, I can't really say, but I was watching practice today, and he might have had the POD, the play of the day. Might have.
Maybe.
I love Rodarius Jackson. I love his game. All right. So, Sarah?
Okay.
Go.
Okay, so my hot take, really taking the hard left here. Rowing. I
Rowing?
think rowing. They won 3 SEC championships last year. I think they're gonna get 2 or 3 again this year.
Now, okay, so they're obviously different events.
Correct. They're different boats that race.
Different boats.
Correct. Yeah. You have the 2V8, the 3V8, and a couple of 4s.
2 what?
They're 2V8.
2V8.
Yes.
Okay.
And a 3V8.
3V8.
Basically, the V8 part is how many people are in the boat.
Okay.
So it's an 8-person boat, and they have multiple different 8-people boats.
Well, thanks for explaining that.
Yeah.
I've never known that.
Yep. Yeah. And a couple of 4s. So info, get some championships.
All right.
Yep.
Andy Brock, what is your hot take presented by Firehouse Subs?
Okay, my hot take, basketball transfer portal window is open. My hot take is that I think it should be cut down to a 48-hour window to decide when you jump in. Not for recruiting purposes, but you have to decide once it hits midnight that you're going the portal, and after that 48 hours, you're done. You've missed your chance. That's my hot take.
I think that would be deemed illegal by the courts.
It could be.
But I like that. I'm not saying I go against courts or law enforcement or anything. I'm just saying I like Andy's hot take. I better stop. Try the new chicken and cheddar rancher at Firehouse Subs. It's packed with grilled chicken breast, crispy bacon, melted cheddar, and creamy buttermilk ranch. Order in the Firehouse Subs app or get it delivered today only at Firehouse Subs. All right, time for a heavy lift. We swing to the heavy lift brought to you by our friends at Planet Fitness. By the way, great job, Ben.
Yep.
Super job.
Snaps for Ben.
The Planet Fitness Black Card, only $24.99 a month. We're all strong on this planet. Join today. See Home Club for details. All right. The heavy lift, Andy Brock, for some sport or some person in ball athletics this coming weekend.
Here we go. I'm going to go to the golf course, Augusta National, the Masters. Jackson Harrington, heavy lift for him, playing in his first professional golf tournament, I guess you could say. The biggest one for any golfer, and he is 4 over after day 1, shot a 76, but he was +1 on the back 9, so he finished really strong, tied for the highest, or I guess in golf, lowest, best score, lowest score for an amateur golfer in the field. So really good job.
It was a little shaky start. I mean, he teed off at 8:14 this morning. It's like, I'm not doing anything well at 8:14. And you're 19 years old.
Pressure
playing
on.
at Augusta National,
Mm-hmm.
big left-hander. Woo! Wish I had his golf swing. All right, Sarah.
My heavy lift is that there's a lot of exciting transfers that are visiting Rocky Top for the women's basketball program over the next couple of days. We've got a lot in this weekend. So to get some more names on the roster, it's really exciting. So we'll be busy downstairs over the weekend with everything else going on Rocky Top this weekend.
But the Planet Fitness heavy lift you're saying is we got to get them in the boat.
We've got to get them. Let's bring them. Let's bring them to Rocky Top.
Get them in the boat. I think the men's and women's program are both doing some exciting things. Obviously, last hour on the Mike Keith Show, Tyler Lundblade was here, and he's already signed with Tennessee and was on campus, obviously, and had a chance to visit with us. We were very excited to have him, and I think they're going to add some great stuff. Kibbs Corner is upcoming, and Zach Stovall will join Kibbs Corner. He is the analytics guy. That's not his official name. I'll let Ross Kivett tell you that, but really, really impressive young man from Huntland, Tennessee. Do you guys know where Huntland is?
No idea.
Huntland is, I think it's technically in Franklin County, but it's in southern middle Tennessee. Huntland is where Johnny Majors is originally from.
Okay, so
the Majors family. It's very small, but Zach Stovall is very famous from there. And speaking of looking for a place to get away when you visit Pigeon Forge, the whole family can play. Hundreds of attractions set in the Great Smoky Mountains. Your crowd will go wild too. Join the fun and plan your trip at mypigeonforge.com. So Kiv's Corner is upcoming. Looking forward to that. And later on, Brent Hubbs and Jason Swain are here to talk about the orange and white game. That's coming up on the Mike Keith Show, delivered by our great friends at Uber Eats. Stay with us for another great hour of content.
Mike Keith on the Vol Network.
Sponsored by UT Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation. Fox Moving and Storage, serving Middle and East Tennessee with experienced, trained professional movers. By Food City, the official supermarket and tailgating headquarters of the Vols. Firehouse Subs, home of the hottest subs in Big Orange Country. And by First Horizon Bank, big bank muscle, small bank hustle.
Vol Nation, if you're looking for quality performance apparel, look no further than Turtleson. Founded by UT alumni out of Bristol, Tennessee, Turtleson designs clothes and accessories that fit your lifestyle. From the office to the country club or the Tennessee Volunteers tailgate, Turtleson has the apparel that looks as good as it feels. Ask for Turtleson wherever you buy your volunteer gear or visit Turtleson.com to learn more. Turtleson is a proud sponsor of the Vol Network. Go Vols!
For a limited time, Firehouse Subs is serving up the French dip sub, piled high with premium roast beef, caramelized onions, and melty provolone on a freshly toasted garlic butter roll. Served with warm, savory au jus for dipping. Big portions, no shortcuts, just crave-worthy subs made to truly satisfy. And at Firehouse Subs, every bite makes an impact. A portion of every purchase helps to provide life-saving equipment to first responders. Download the Firehouse Subs app, skip the line, stack the flavor, and support your local heroes.
Every team knows great basketball starts with the fundamentals. At Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, they do too. Trusted coverage, local agents who know you by name, and service that's there when you need it most. For auto, home, and life, they're here to protect what makes Tennessee life so special. Because when you have a strong foundation, you can focus on the road ahead. Solid fundamentals, trusted coverage, Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Tennessee Insurance or Tennessee Life. Get a free quote at FBITN.com.
Whether you're cheering on the Vols at Food City Center, watching at your favorite sports bar, or hosting a watch party, you need a beer that will cool you down. Choose Coors Light for a beer as cold as the Rockies. It's cold lagered for a lighter, fresher taste, cold filtered for a brighter appearance, and cold packaged for peak freshness. This basketball season, reach for the beer that supports the Big Orange. Choose chill. Mountain Cold Refreshment, Coors Light. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers. Celebrate responsibly. 21 means 21.
Prepping you for game day. Delivered by Uber Eats with Mike Keith.
Time for the show within this show. It's Kiv's Corner. Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. 9 area locations. And gosh, one just down here by the river is so good. The one out by me is the original location, is so good. One Turkey Creek is, they're all so good. I love Calhoun's. Ross Kivett, assistant baseball coach, recruiting coordinator.
That's right.
Lover of Calhoun's. Ross Kivett is here.
Calhoun's, yep.
That's why it's Kiv's Corner, in case you didn't know. Just like it's the Mike Keith Show starring Mike Keith. Just the obvious things, but we need to throw them out.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in this one. Not that I'm not interested in
other ones.
Yeah, but I'm really fascinated by this.
We have today the director of baseball strategy for the University of Tennessee, Zach Stovall. He's a native of Huntland, Tennessee.
That's where John T. Majors went to school.
That's right. Part of this analytical transition for college, it's not just giving the numbers to the players, which he does, and he does in an astounding fashion, but it's also roster management, numerous labels. I hate to say labels, but I guess being able to stay within budgets and how important that is now. He's almost in de facto GM. So I think that's kind of exciting for people to know of how you also are part of roster management.
With the portal opening here soon, we'll get, all of the names flooding into the portal. I mean, it's over 10,000, right?
Sure.
You can't go through, you can't go through all 10,000, right? But that's where you use numbers to kind of comb through where it's, you're looking for, say we're looking for a certain type of pitcher, whether it's a breaking ball guy, velo guy, whatever it may be, we can, kind of sort through all the pitchers and say, all right, show me every pitcher who tops out at 100, right? And we can pull all that data and boom, there you go. There's the 70 pitchers in the portal that throw 100. I don't know if there's going to be 70 this year.
Well,
that would be very nice.
Crazy. What is the average fastball velocity, let's say in the SEC?
In the SEC right now, it's probably around 92.
Wow.
Which in the big leagues right now, it's 95, and the SEC's been very, very close to what the major league average has been.
So when you're going into the bullpens with Coach Reynolds, or you're breaking down film or numbers with pitchers after their outings, what are a few numbers that people might not know about that you are wired focus on?
Outside of production, you're looking at, kind of a couple different metrics on basically just how the ball's moving. So you've got induced vertical break, horizontal break,
this way,
which is basically induced vertical is basically telling on a fastball, when a guy swings underneath the fastball, they have a lot of induced vertical break, ride, carry, what you've always called it for years when a guy has life to his heater. There's a number that says that, right? That says
it's not
this
just
guy
a
has life.
movement anymore.
Exactly.
Elevator. Have you ever heard that? Like, it looks like it's on an elevator.
Bore, ride, carry, all of those words. Basically, you can boil down to a couple different numbers. You've got induced vertical break, horizontal break, vertical approach angle, which basically just says how steep or how flat the ball is coming into the zone.
Let me give an example. Evan Blanco, for a guy that doesn't throw overly hard by the naked eye, it's 90, 92. It is left-handed. Why does he get so many bad pop-up misses from other teams?
He has a ton of induced vertical break, creating ride, creating, live on his heater where guys are always underneath it. They have to really fight to get on top of it. And then when they finally do get on top of it, here comes a slider to change up that gets below the barrel.
Wow.
So that is why he gets a ton of pop-ups and swing and miss on his fastball.
Zach, how'd you learn all this?
The last 3 years, from 21 to 23, before I came back to Tennessee, I was a video manager as a student.
Okay.
Ross Kivitz, -- assistant.
Yeah, he worked a lot of our camps.
Worked a lot of the Chipotle runs and the Starbucks runs as well.
Mandatory. I mean,
mandatory runs.
You could have used Uber Eats.
We would have, but we had
He
Zach.
was Uber Eats.
I was Uber Eats.
Yeah.
I was Uber Eats. I graduated in 2020, got a job with the Texas Rangers, first year in Low A with the Down East Wood Ducks in Kinston, North Carolina, and then 2 years in Round Rock, Texas in AAA in the Pacific Coast League. Through that time, you play 120 to 150 games in a year, and you're getting data from every game. You just learn so much from seeing it every day, seeing how it's working, how each guy is using it, how each guy is different. All of the mentors I had from there really, really helped me in how to use it as both an analyst and as an evaluator.
Did you find something in college here at Tennessee that allowed you to kind of further that in terms of what you majored in?
Business analytics was my major. So
Haslam guy.
Haslam, yes, sir.
One of our best.
Go Browns.
Yes.
But with the business analytics program, the number one thing that they teach is being able to convey your message to whatever audience you're talking to, whether it's to a player, a coach, another analyst who can speak the same technical language, or in professional baseball, you've got players that don't speak the same language at all. So you've got to figure out how to convey data between English, Spanish, at times Japanese, Korean.
What did you think you were going to do with your life when you were in the business school at the University of Tennessee?
Honestly, what I'm doing right now. I loved it. I loved it. When I first came to college, I was a sports management major, switched to business analytics I knew I wanted to work in baseball, wanted to be everyone calls it, it's a cliche, but the Jonah Hill from Moneyball, right?
That was one of my questions, was about Moneyball.
That was always something I wanted to do. And whether it was in professional baseball, college, scouting, whatever it may be, like using data to help teams win games.
How do you manage the old school thinkers, whether it be on the coaching staff, on Twitter, or even in the clubhouse for guys that don't know numbers, to the new school, all I care about is number? And how do you kind of buffer what's too much, what's not enough, and be able to give the information that is then processed onto the field?
You're telling them how many numbers do they want to hear. If you're an old school guy, you don't want to hear numbers. You want to hear the verbiage, ride, this guy has life on his heater, this guy's breaker's really tight, or different things like that. For a newer school guy, you're going to break down all the numbers. Your vertical approach angle's this, and your horizontal movement is that, and this is what we need to do to get your movement into this range. For an older school guy, it might be, just throw it a little harder.
What are you doing during the games?
Ooh, good one. We're looking at how the game is progressing, right? So it mainly is when you get deeper into the games. I mean, when you're in the first through fifth innings, whatever, everyone's just playing ball. You got the starters in there. You're not really worried about matchups or anything like that. But when the game gets deeper, you start looking at relievers that are coming in. The other team's going to be matching up with our relievers. You're basically just looking at matchups, right? Where I've got my game sheet that has basically every number that I would like to know whenever Coach Elander or someone would ask me a question on, hey, is this a good matchup?
So you're in the dugout?
Yes.
He stays next to Coach E.
Okay. Yes, right next to Coach Elander. And a lot of the times is when we're bringing in a pitcher, and a lot of the times we've gone, righty-lefty, lefty-righty. When we go from, Tegan to Appenzeller, Mac to Appenzeller, or, the main question is, all right, we bring Arvidsson in this spot. Are they going to pinch hit this lefty? Yes. Okay, do we like Arv versus this righty, or do we like Mac one more batter versus this lefty? So it's mainly just a lot of questions on what do the numbers say.
So Josh doesn't do the Lou Brown from Major Leagues where he says, "Give me Vaughn."
No.
And
well, maybe.
And then he says, I got a feeling. There's more to it than that.
No doubt.
How about when you're prepping for the series or for a midweek game?
Mm-hmm. You're looking at when the starter may come out, right? So, okay, Mac throwing on Friday night, you get 6 innings out of him, and you're at this spot in the lineup. Do we want to flip the ball over to our next guy, or do we want to let him keep going? You're basically looking at, all right, when situations get hairy, where do guys need to come out? Where do guys need to come in? It's really just as simple as that. What's the best matchup for these guys?
So you don't have to be emotional or scared to give sort of a suggestion to Josh Elander because you're all based on numbers.
Correct.
Numbers have no feelings. So the objective decision is usually swayed by a number. Is that wrong?
No, correct.
I mean, if it's 50-50, we're going to go with the number at the end of the day. What about when you're building a roster? How can you, in such an emotional business between scouts that go out and evaluate and numbers that you just said don't have emotion, how do you stay centered and keep, let's say, tempers mended or neutral when you're making discussions on rosters?
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at what you need, right? From a pitching perspective. Do you have, 5 or 6 guys you think could start for you on the weekend? Do you have 5 or 6 different looks coming out of the pen? I mean, our team this year, I would say, is one of the most varied bullpens we've had. We have a guy throwing from his ankles, and then, we've got Bo Rudy throwing out of his shoulder. We've got lefties. We've got different righty looks. You want to make sure that your bullpen doesn't all look the same, because when you get to Sunday, you get deep into the game, the other team's going, hey, I've seen this guy 4 times already.
Right.
But if you got a guy who's looks completely different than the guys you've been throwing, it's a different look for the guy, and it might take a while for the other lineup to get adjusted.
Interesting. What about when you guys are putting together the plan for the summer and guys are starting to get in and get out? How do you stay objective with that? The reason I ask is obviously basketball is going through that now with their portal, and they obviously have a plan. You've spoken to Scotty before.
Shout out Scotty.
Shout out Scotty. That guy's really smart. So what's your ACT?
34.
Bummer. Couldn't be perfect. How do you have the ability to stay neutral with what maybe it's the demand versus what the product is?
Right. No, it can be a little hard because you're around these guys all the time, right? And when you're looking at building a roster, looking at what your needs are through the portal, I try to kind of stay a little further back from the action where, I don't want to be the only one saying we need this, and this, right? It needs to be a group discussion. So when we're all on the same page about what the team needs, then it's okay. Let's go look at the numbers. Let's go find a couple things that fit the parameters that we're looking for in building a successful team for 2026 and beyond.
Our baseball team this year has had a lot of weird things happen.
I'm glad you're asking.
Well, you're clearly a baseball guy. You certainly are a baseball lifer. I've been following baseball for over 50 years. I live and die with baseball. I love baseball. My thing is, there have been so many unusual things happen this year. Is it just me as a baseball guy saying all of this happening has been incredibly strange? Or is there a percentage that would say the numbers, which don't lie,
they don't?
The numbers would say I'm absolutely right that we have had a number of unusual happening so far in the 2026 season.
You look at a couple of different things that could go your way, whether it's, the way that the games have ended for us, everything's flipping on a dime, things like that. There have been so many strange things happening from a number standpoint, whether it's, balls not getting out of the yard, balls finding holes for the other team. It's definitely been the strangest year that I've been a part of. On the other hand, no excuses. We've got to go out. We've got to finish. Sure. We've got to go out and produce and finish games.
But as a baseball guy with no numbers involved, I'm saying that has to turn around.
Right. Yes.
I mean, it just can't.
The
baseball gods.
Yes.
They come back and be nice to us.
How much does it help you in your job that you are also a baseball guy?
I mean, it helps a ton.
Because not every guy who does your job is a baseball guy.
Correct.
Some are just mathematicians more.
Like in Moneyball.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill is not a baseball.
Well, and his character was based on Paul DePodesta,
who was
the Dodgers, and then he went to work for the Browns, and
now the Rockies.
Now the Rockies.
I didn't have the same playing experience that Coach Kivett, all of our current players have, the players that I had in professional baseball. So I had to learn from a lot of great mentors. Coach Kivett, Coach Elaner, Coach Vitello from the years past, and then all my mentors with the Rangers of, okay, I'm the numbers guy. How do I get players and coaches to trust me?
Oh.
And it's basically it always comes back to the same thing. And I don't remember exactly who said this first, and I wish I did, but I've heard it a million times. People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. From a numbers guy who didn't play the game, players and coaches have to know that you care about them before you go to them and say, hey, I think we should do X, Y, and Z.
The other thing to compliment Stovall, he doesn't come in and pretend like he knows more.
Right. He's not trying to be a
old school guys like even me, who I went to a state school in Kansas. I'm not that smart. And I listen to him talk, I'm going, come down to earth and give me that in layman's terms. And he's so good at it. If we were to send him out to go recruiting right now, go evaluate a player, he knows what he's looking at. And what is so awesome about having him as a resource here at Tennessee is I know what I see with my eyes. He verifies it with the numbers.
Nice.
So in the summers when he might not be on the road for the 50, 60 days, he's grinding every day with us because it'll be a midnight call. Hey, I'm driving from Birmingham to Atlanta. This is what I saw. I just sent you the track, man. Tell me if I'm right. And it's like 45 minutes in the car at midnight on a Tuesday, and it's an unbelievable resource.
See, this is what I think I would have tried to do had this been in existence.
Yeah,
when I was nobody believed in. I mean, it was literally Lou Brown saying, "I have a feeling."
Yeah,
I mean that was really how it worked. But there were always guys on the bench who would say, hey, I remember the last two guys that Smith faced Jones and he got him out with a slider. So let's throw him all sliders. So it's always been there.
Mm-hmm.
But when the whole Moneyball thing got started with Billy Beane and DePodesta and the guys who really embraced it, I saw how it changed in my time in the NFL. Bill Belichick read a guy's paper.
No way.
It's 100% true. A guy wrote a paper for his master's or for something about why you should go in these situations. And based on that paper and the analytics in the paper, Bill Belichick started going for it more on fourth down, and it started a lot of the NFL trend. There were already some college trends and high school trends from Pulaski Academy in Little Rock, Arkansas, who were already doing that.
That's so crazy.
But yeah, it was all based on analytics. What's your favorite order at Calhoun's?
Definitely the bacon wrapped burn ends.
Nice.
As an appetizer. And thankfully,
you don't need a number sheet for that, do you? No, sir.
Every time I always, I've got a ton of family coming in from out of town for these games. Go to Calhoun's first thing. Give me the bacon wrap burn ends.
Yeah.
Shout out Calhoun.
Thank you.
Thank you for sponsoring Keith's Corner. Zach Stovall, thanks for being with us.
Well
done.
Thank you.
We got more of the show right after this.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit RJV Kubota locally in Knoxville or Nashville. RJV Kubota, a proud supporter of the Vols.
Hey, Vol Nation. It's Coach Barnes, here to remind you why Pilot is the official travel partner of Tennessee Athletics. Every season is a journey, building on what's in the rear view while keeping your eyes on the road ahead. The folks at Pilot know all about that. They're out here to help you make the most of every mile. Just like things were always better in that Tennessee orange, every journey's better with a stop at Pilot. See you out here.
It's game day, ball fans, and you don't want to miss a single play. Uber Eats brings your favorite food right to your door. Wings, pizza, burgers, whatever you're craving, it's just a tap away. Download the Uber Eats app and use code GOBIGORANGE to get $15 off all orders. Uber Eats, proud sponsor of the Vols. Let's eat.
A farm, a family, and a tradition of premium fresh sausage that's lasted almost a century. Using only the freshest ingredients and finest cuts of meat for flavor that is locked in instantly. Each bite of Swaggerty's Farm sausage transports you back to a warm, cozy southern kitchen, leaving you satisfied and ready to take on the day. Swaggerty's Farm, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. Now available at your local retailers.
Across Big Orange Country, fall weekend begins here. Mike Keith, delivered by Uber Eats.
Hey, let's be clean. Slide outs on 2, 1, 2. Slide out. Oh. Yep.
You got time to make it look like a setup. I mean, I'm working them at the top and then running the speed. All right. Everything else was clean though.
Cool. How y'all boys doing, man? Oh, wee.
This segment of the Mike Keith Show brought to you by Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes of Tennessee, helping families across the state find their dream homes. From the Ball Radio Network, Jason Swain, Brent Hubbs, spring game, orange and white weekend, orange and white day, whatever you want to call it. It happens at Neyland Stadium, preserved by Pilot, coming up this Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. It's a wrap to spring practice 2026. Brent Hubbs, I'll start with you, and then Jason, you can follow up. What was the most important thing that Tennessee needed to get done this spring?
I think start to create their defensive identity and what they wanted to be on defense, and how quick could you get there? How much could you learn? How much could you install? And I think that there's a feeling that they are ahead of schedule in creating that identity and creating that brand of football that Jim Knowles wants to play. Everybody's going to talk about the quarterbacks, Jason, but the reality is that was never going to get resolved this spring. So for me, in terms of what are you going to accomplish in 13 practices, I jumped to the defensive side of the ball to kind of create swagger or create confidence, brand, identity, whatever adjective you want to use there.
For me, it's a strength and conditioning program with Derek Owens. That's laying the foundation of what's acceptable inside of this program, the toughness, physical toughness, the mental toughness, setting that standard. That's the most important thing, because physically you have to be able to move the line of scrimmage in the fall on offense and defense. And so we're seeing some positive effects from him already. And so I think he, along with the defense and the new players, are the most important pieces of the spring.
We on the outside hear buy-in from what people say. But as a former player, what are you seeing that leads you to believe that outside of words, there is that kind of deep buy-in that it seems that there is?
The best way to know that is when you see the really, really good players being held to the same standard as everyone else. That's when you know that, hey, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. In this case, with the new age of college football, how much money you're making, there's a standard, there is a bar, and everyone has to meet it. And if you don't, then, you know, there's issues. And so that's the one thing I'm excited about with this Derek Owens staff and the defense staff, and kind of moving into this direction.
It's always interesting to see what the buy-in is for guys that maybe you haven't seen before or heard before. You know, it's the clean slate mentality. And I'm curious for you, because you had played and David Cutcliffe comes in, and it's some of the same things, but it's a whole different way of doing business. So as a veteran, how did you buy in, and how important do you think the older player buy-in is for a guy who's looking for a fresh start, like some of those defensive backs who didn't play a lot last year?
Well, I mean, Jim Knowles won a national championship. Derek Owens won a national championship. And the last 2 years, you've added those guys who won championships. And so if I'm a player, especially on defense, and you have a coordinator that knows what it takes to not only put guys in the league, because that's really my first goal is to play at the next level. I want to win. Jim Knowles can get you there. He knows what it looks like. And so you listen to him. You take his coaching. This staff put together by Knowles, they've coached players that play at the next level and competed at a high level as well, too. So it's the instant credibility that stands out for me.
The thing that jumps out about Knowles, and he said this when we had a chance to talk to him in January, that he was excited to bring coaches with him who knew him and to bring players with him who had played for him. Feels like watching them this spring, that has worked out.
Yeah, and I had a chance to visit with Anthony Poindexter earlier this week and was talking with him, and he's just like, yeah, it was a year ago, I'm learning it and teaching it. I'm going to class and then I'm teaching class. Now I'm just teaching class. And so he's not trying to get his footing in a defense like he was a year ago learning Jim Knowles. He's a year into it. He understands it better. Derek Jones, who hasn't been with Jim Knowles for a while, was with him early on at Duke. So they have a foundation and an understanding of things. So I think that has allowed them to go faster. And I think Jim Knowles said this in your interview too. I mean, he's learned through the years in his installs at new places. There's a lot of different ways to skin that cat, so to speak. And I think he's tweaked how it's gone about learning. And I think as a result of that, they all feel like they're ahead of schedule from where maybe they thought they would be when spring started.
And the good news for Tennessee's offense is they've really been challenged by that defense this spring.
Jason and I always joke back when he played, it was always, there's the rules, right? Okay, we're not going to do this, you're not going to do that until about the third play, and then it becomes football. There haven't been any rules this spring. And I think that's exactly what Joey Halzle is looking for those young quarterbacks. Don't give me a lot of parameters. That don't limit what guys can do and what guys can't do. Let's just play football. And I think Jim Knowles did that from the first scrimmage on, Jason.
Well, it's good for Joey Halzle. Not only is it good for the young quarterbacks and good for the offense, but I think it's good for Halzle and for Heupel to be able to go up against Knowles and his defense. We saw what he did when he was at Ohio State, and Tennessee played Ohio State, gave Tennessee some trouble. So this helps Halzle evolve as offense coordinator and have more answers to the test. Then it helps these quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks, be able to process information quickly when Knowles decides he wants to send the blitz, or if he decides he wants to do something different with the front. It prepares these quarterbacks as well.
Where are the quarterbacks right now?
They're battling, that's for sure. They look like freshmen. I think there are flashes that you see from either guy that makes you think, okay, this guy can play in this conference and can play at a high level. It's going to be really important for everybody around them to play well too. But I've been impressed with Faison Brandon, his ability to get outside the pocket, make some things happen with his legs. He's letting it fly. Of course, he's making his mistakes. In scrimmage number 2, I saw him throw a touchdown pass up the seam, and you can't miss throwing across the middle. And I thought he did a really good job. And to me, it feels like he's a little bit ahead of schedule.
Is there a position surprise right now?
It's a twofold. Is it a surprise or a disappointment a little bit? I think the defensive front has been able to win in the line of scrimmage and pass protection a good bit, particularly in the interior.
Being able to rush the passer.
Being able to rush the passer. So the question becomes are you that good on the defensive front, or are you struggling in the interior of your offensive line a little bit in what you're doing? And I think when you're a head coach, you're always battling that, right? It's okay if my defense does well. What's wrong with the offense type thing? But I think across the board with that defensive front, they have moved the line of scrimmage some in the passing game in terms of defending pass, being able to get after the quarterback. And I think that's probably been a group that surprised me. And the headliner to that in that group for me right now is Xavier Gillum and what he's been able to do in terms of being able to get to the quarterback.
Is he the newcomer that's grabbed you the most?
He is. I just think when you look at where impacts are going to be made on defense, you know you're going to need some help up front because you got some young guys in that defensive line. I think his ability to show that he's a 3-down player, he's held his own, Jason, in the run game, and he's affected the quarterback. I think he's been the biggest surprise to me so far.
That's where it starts, guys, in this league. If you're going to win at a high level, it starts up front, and it starts with the guys who are closest to the football. Defensively, it starts with the defensive tackle. Offensively, it starts with your centers and your guards. And so what I've seen from the scrimmages, Xavier Gilliam has been a problem for the offensive line. And that could be a good thing to help these guys and challenge these guys for sure. But anytime it's a spring ball or fall camp and you have one side win, that's good, but then it makes you question the other side and how good they are. You want that yin and yang. You want that balance.
Receiver who is trying to make a way to get playing time with Mike Matthews and Braylon Staley, or receivers?
Darius Jackson. I mean, he's been someone I've been paying close attention to. I mean, physically, he's ready. He can compete. Him and Travis Smith. I think consistency catching the football needs to be really the focus, because that's what's going to separate these guys. I mean, you have a few guys battling for one spot, and you have to understand kind of the climate that you're in that room. You got a 5-star in there in TK Keys that's looking for an opportunity to play early too, and the coach is going to give him that opportunity. So you can't let the window and the door be open by putting the ball on the ground. So you got to catch everything and make plays after the catch.
And what's really interesting about offense, and maybe the biggest question mark, is what's the tight end rotation? Can you get enough depth there that you feel comfortable playing 2 or 3? Who are those guys outside of Ethan Davis?
Well, it starts with Deshaun Brame. And I think the question with Brame is, can Brame be an every down tight end, or is he a third down pass catching tight end? Is he where Ethan Davis was a couple of years ago, or has he, through the strength and conditioning program where he's gotten stronger and more physical, has he completely got into being an inline blocker and doing the things that he needs to do to block? If not, they could always go with an extra offensive guard or tackle out there, and they could schematically kind of work around it into 2 tight end sets. Carson Gentle could be a factor there. We'll have to see. But I think, to me, the question is, how far does Brame come between now and August from a physicality standpoint? Everybody knows he can catch the football. You can flex him out and do everything. If he can get the inside part of it and the physical part of it, I think it gives them a pretty nice 1-2 punch at tight end if they can stay healthy.
Is there a main concern that they come out of spring with no matter what happens on Saturday?
Absolutely. You want a concern or two, right?
Okay.
I mean, you want something to be able to focus on and work on during the summer. It's not going to be perfect, especially when you have so many people watching. So there's going to be a narrative created from the spring. It can be good or bad, but there's nothing wrong with having a concern and working on that during the summer, because I think every team in college football is going to have a concern. You're not going to win the championship in April. So it's okay to have a concern. You just don't want any injuries. That's the most important thing. You want everybody to come out unscathed and be able to be healthy going into the summer and fall.
Who takes control of this team at the quarterback spot?
And how fast?
And how quickly do they do that? Because here's the thing. Here's the old receiver guy right here. He wants to know who he's going to catch balls from. The quicker you know who your guy is, and it's not going to be decided in June, but who's taking the reins and saying, I'm running throwing sessions, I'm setting things up, I'm available to the receivers for film study, for all those things. That's when you start to make your team in the summertime, for me, which quarterback becomes that guy this summer? Who takes that leadership rank? Because remember, George McIntyre took a group of receivers to South Florida over January to kind of start that process before Faison got here. Now Faison's here. How does that mesh up?
George had the advantage being that he was a returner, but he had no virtual experience in that job. So he was almost the guy, trying to keep the lead in the golf tournament, whereas Faison's just been able to cut it loose and just play. Well, now, once we get to July and August, and it starts to become real that one or the other could win the job, that it's that even, do they have a chance to look the same in August as they have in April? And I think that's something to keep an eye on.
These receivers, they run a lot, right? And if you are a receiver looking to have throwing sessions with your quarterback, you want to have a throwing session with the quarterback you think is going to be the starter.
Yeah.
And you have a idea. I think each individual receiver probably has their own idea of who's going to be the starter. So you probably want to throw more with that guy than anybody else. And so that's going to be interesting to kind of see how that plays out.
Football teams are made in the summertime. No offense to 15 days of spring practice, but what you do after spring practice to August is critical for the development of your team. How does this team go about that process at quarterback and at other positions all the way through?
We will see the final chapter of spring at Neyland Stadium, preserved by Pilot, coming up this Saturday, 2 o'clock. We'll be on the Vol Network at 2 with a special. Jason Swain will be there. Brent Hubbs will be there. We think Ramon Foster will be a part of it. We think.
If we can get him to work.
We get him work. And Larry Stone will also be part of it. So we look forward to bringing you 2 hours of University of Tennessee football talk on your Vol Network this Saturday. More of the show coming up right after this.
Your weekend scouting report with Mike Keith.
Sponsored by First Horizon Bank. Big Bank Solutions, Small Bank Spirit, the official bank of the Vols. Pilot, official travel stop of the Vols. See you out here. Swaggerty's Farm Sausage, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. By the Tennessee Fund. Join the My All campaign today. IWillGiveMyAll.com. And by Food City, the official supermarket and tailgating headquarters of the Vols.
Offense wins games, defense wins championships, and KUB Fiber wins the award for best internet in Big Orange Country. Speeds up to 10 gigs per second, a price that doesn't go up every month, no hidden fees, and 98% customer satisfaction. That means that out of 100 people, 98 were extremely happy, and 2 people were not. Must be Florida fans. KUB Fiber, Vol Nation's favorite internet. Get it at KUBFiber.com.
Across the state of Tennessee, you will find towns big and small, all with that big orange passion, just like you see at First Horizon, serving communities big and small, offering big bank products with small bank passion. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. That's First Horizon, proudly serving Tennesseans for over 160 years. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Tennessee athletics.
Fans, make your tailgate party legendary with game day food from Texas Roadhouse, where you'll find hand-cut steaks, fall-off-the-bone ribs, ice-cold beer, and all the fresh-baked bread and peanuts you can eat. Almost everything on the menu at Texas Roadhouse is made from scratch, and a full-time butcher cuts every steak by hand. Make sure to check out their $5 beverage menu available all day, every day. Download the Texas Roadhouse mobile app or visit TexasRoadhouse.com to place your order or join the wait list. Go Vols!
What's better than a Tennessee Vols game day? A Big Orange game day with Truly Hard Seltzer. From backyards to box seats, Truly Hard Seltzer's winning blend of refreshing flavor and endless variety will take your game to the next level. At only 100 calories and 22 different flavors, including fan favorites like wild berry and strawberry lemonade, there's something for everyone. No one is just one flavor. Live Truly. Find it near you at TrulyHardSeltzer.com. Truly Hard Seltzer Beverage Company, Boston, Mass. Please drink responsibly.
Before the game, the final scouting report with Mike Keith, delivered by Uber Eats.
The Mike Keith Show continues. This segment of the program is brought to you by First Horizon, official bank of the Vols. Dawson Sutton's here, and if you don't know who he is, what are you doing? You should know. He is a fantastic young man who's got a lot of things going in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. You got so much stuff, I couldn't fit it on one card.
Oh,
I got to go through. So he drives the number 26 for Rackley War Racing. And in case you need to know what that is, that's Rackley Roofing, the official roofer of the Vols, and Willie Allen Racing. You're a busy man getting ready to go to Bristol tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. Just the schedule has been unreal this year. You know, the NASCAR side of things, there's never, no stops. And just lucky enough to, be able to travel around and go to some of these cool racetracks like Bristol tomorrow night. And, it's definitely one of my favorite tracks to go there and just, represent that half mile, just high banks. It's crazy how fast it is. And to be, so close to home, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, this is a homecoming for you because this young man is from Lebanon, Tennessee. Big Vol fan.
Oh, yeah.
Love the Big Orange.
Dude, love him, man. I grew up watching football. I really didn't have a whole lot of interest in racing at first, but just watching football every week and, going to the games. My first ever game was going to the Battle of Bristol. So
okay,
going there it was unreal. And, to go to a racetrack, my first ever game, it was just so cool. And to just, represent that and look at all the fans there, it was crazy.
Dawson Sutton is not only in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, he still races Supermodel and Pro Late Model as well. So you're racing multiple times a week, some weeks?
Oh yeah, it's like I said, there's just no stops, you know. There's no really off-season racing. There's about a month off between January and December, but that's really it. You know, even in the cold, we always race and racing the grassroots races like late models, super late models, and pro late models. Our biggest race of the season is in December at the Snowball Derby, so down in Pensacola, Florida. So there's really no, breaks or stops in the season throughout the NASCAR and, the grassroots late models. And it's just awesome to be able to, have that big of a schedule and to race that many times a year. I think this year, my schedule rounds up to about 65 races. Last year, I think we ran about 80.
So you drove last Friday night in Rockingham, and then you drove to Knoxville to see Tennessee beat LSU in baseball, right?
Oh yeah, that was, a great weekend to just, have 2 wins. It was a great weekend at Rockingham. We had a really, really fast truck all day long, and unfortunately had a bad time pit stop and got trapped a lap down, but still had a decent finish. I think we finished 14th in the race or 15th. But and then, just coming straight here to watch that game and watch the Vols win on my first ever baseball game.
You had never been to Lindsey Nelson Stadium?
Never, man. It was so cool just to see the atmosphere and that many fans. Yeah, it was just an awesome environment and, a great facility.
So you're going to run tomorrow night at Bristol in the Truck Series, and then you're headed right to Nashville for what is a homecoming race. I guess the biggest race you've won so far in your career was in Nashville last year, right?
Yep, that was the All-American 400. That's the big one everybody wants to win there. And, thankfully we got the guitar. That was one that I always grew up wanting to win. And like you said, this weekend's going to be a really big weekend for me, running, Bristol tomorrow night and running the fairgrounds on Saturday and the Cars Tour. Bringing that, that Rackley Roofing 62 car or the Mobley Speed 62 car back at the fairgrounds will be a really big deal for me. And just that environment, I think they're reviving Nashville and the Cars Tour is a part of that. So it'd be really cool to see that many fans there Saturday night along with Bristol. And, it's going to be a great weekend.
Okay, racing question. I've always wanted to ask a driver this. How different is it in terms of what you have to do driving the trucks to the cars?
Man, it's so crazy. Just, the driving styles of every vehicle. It's a lot different than driving on the interstate. I say, the truck is closer to that because they move around. And, when you're in a little car and you get next to a semi truck, you move around a lot. So just imagine, doing that 200 miles per hour when you have 30 other trucks beside you. So it's unreal. Just the driving styles of, a truck where they move around a lot more. And especially, it depends what track you're at, especially Daytona and Talladega. You move around a ton, and it's really easy to get the air taken off of you when they get up next to you and they side draft you. So it's really just, it's crazy, just the driving styles compared to the late model where, a lot more stuck and just a lot more throttle time. So it's really fast, but it's crazy, man, how much different they are.
Here's the other exciting thing about tomorrow night. Rackley War has combined with the University of Tennessee Athletic Department and Learfield. And number 26, Dawson Sutton's truck, will be Tennessee. Will be outfitted in the snow globe white. Is that what you call it? Stormtrooper white and all the big orange. How much did you know about the design of the truck?
Yeah, man, I really didn't know much until, just a few days ago. It's been a really cool deal, run that black camo every week. And, we thought of the white camo. So it's just a super, super cool truck. And it's definitely one of a kind. Last year we ran the scheme and didn't have any white camo, but I thought it still looked really good. And we just wanted to take one step up. And I feel like that's what we did. I think it looks really, really sharp. It's definitely one of a kind, like I said. And I think it'll be really fast tomorrow night. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
And combining your passion as a University of Tennessee fan, a Lebanon native, and a passion for you as a young driver in all of this. It's got to be, so far, like a dream come true, I would think.
Man, it is. It's just so cool. I've been racing for 4.5 years now, and just to, climb through the ranks and from the bottom step up, it's flew by. It's felt like just a year almost, but it's super cool to just, have the opportunity to come out here and race at these tracks I dreamed at racing at when I was little. And, I grew up watching, the Cars movie and all these just little racing shows, but, that's what I grew up about doing. And, at first I just, I had other sports in mind. I watched football and baseball and, I really loved those. And then I found found a passion for racing, just a few years ago. And like I said, ever since I got in the car for the first time, every step has just flown by. And now, racing at Bristol tomorrow night.
It's incredible. Again, Dawson Sutton, Rackley War Car, and again, the University of Tennessee Athletic Department and also Learfield joining with him to produce a Tennessee car. You'll see number 26 tomorrow night, 7:30 on FS1. You can watch the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series from Bristol. Dawson Sutton, what a pleasure to meet you. Can't wait to see you advance in all this. And hey, go win tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Win in that big orange, right?
Oh, yeah.
As we leave, maybe you'll come back for this next Thursday because we got a big event happening. Vol fans like Dawson Sutton can join us next Thursday, 1 week from today, at the Vol Shop Student Union on the UT campus to meet the Vols. Blaine Brown of Tennessee Baseball and Sage Margetco of Tennessee Softball will be at the University of Tennessee Student Union location, signing autographs and meeting fans from 6 to 7:30 Eastern Time. Free parking available for customers in Lot 9, which is adjacent to the Vol Shop Student Union location. Join us for an exciting evening and the opportunity to meet Blaine Brown and Sage Margetco 1 week from today, Thursday, April 16th, presented by Champion. You could maybe just drive over here fast and come back.
Oh, yeah, I'm not too far.
Not too far, that away. For Dawson Sutton, I'm Mike Keith. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Mike Keith talks Big Orange sports right here every week, getting you ready for game day.
Presented by Uber Eats.
Download the show at utsports.com. Mike Keith. We are the Vol Network.